On the Saints door, quarterback sneak by Tom Brady to the 43-year-old score. He did. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Now, spike that ball, Tom Brady. Who says I'm 43? He runs right up the gut and scores 6. 7. Handoff, run the ball. Fournette slashes away to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 30, 25, to the 20. Fournette to the 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Run the ball, Leonard Fournette. Wow, what a blast up the gut, found daylight, and outran everybody. Fire the cannons, get them going. Bucs win. Bucs win, Bucs win. Fire them cannons.
First snap in Vikings territory for Tampa Bay. Brady all day, downfield. Touchdown, Scott Miller. Four-man rush. Brady airing it out, going deep. He's got it to Antonio Brown. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones will get it. Big hole. Jones gets by. Ronald Jones may go all the way. Being chased from behind. Does Jones have enough? Still on his feet. Ronald Jones, 98-yard touchdown.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Swords Up Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our final regular season game, a Week 17 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, and this will be our last home game of the season, no matter what seed we finish in for the playoff picture, because we won't be a division winner. We will be entering the playoffs as a wild card, so this will be our final home game of the season and our final regular season game of the 2020 season. And so today we're going to be talking about the game as well as the key players to it, giving a prediction at the end, and also taking a look at the playoff picture. Alright, so since I'm pre-recording this video earlier in the week and I will actually be out of town, the injury report has not come out yet, and so I will pin a comment in the comment section below once the final injury report comes out. So let's just get straight into the key players. And for the Falcons side of things, I know I highlighted Calvin Ridley for them in the first matchup, but I really think he is going to be an important player for them, especially because he completely torched us last time, and I thought that was one of the problems we had in the last matchup was covering Calvin Ridley, and so I think he's going to be a huge factor once again in this game. And I'll just go ahead and get this out of the way. I already highlighted Mike Evans again as a key player, so I know it's a bit redundant on the key players that I've highlighted, but I really believe that the players I highlighted this week are going to have key contributions. So let's start out on the Falcons side with Calvin Ridley. And so in the last matchup against us, he had 10 catches for 163 yards, 1 touchdown, which meant he averaged 16.3 yards per catch. I mean, when that Falcons offense was hot in the first half of our last matchup with them, Calvin Ridley was doing big things for them, and he was their main source of receiving production. I mean, it just seemed like every other play he was getting open, and he was the source of most of their big plays too. So we'll see if we can get Carlton Davis back for this one, but nonetheless, the recent injuries we've had in the secondary, it's a little bit worrisome coming into this one, especially with an elite receiver like Calvin Ridley and how he's broken out this season. And so far in 2020, he's had 82 receptions for 1,322 yards, 9 touchdowns, and averaging 16.1 yards per catch. I'm really surprised he was not selected to the Pro Bowl this year. I think he was one of the biggest snubs. But nonetheless, he's had a breakout season, his first 1,000-yard season. And with Julio Jones definitely aging and suffering from injuries this season, Calvin Ridley is definitely going to be a cornerstone for this Falcons team moving forward. Alright, so that brings me to Mike Evans, who is our key player for this matchup. And I'm highlighting him because the last 2 games he's had some huge performances. He's come up really big for us, and he normally has had really good games against the Falcons. Case in point with the last matchup, in which he had 6 catches for 110 yards, which meant he averaged 18.3 yards per catch. And then also because of the record that I keep mentioning that he has the chance to break, and he is oh so close to doing it this week, as he only needs 40 more yards to break that record, which is tied with him and Randy Moss at 6 seasons for the most 1,000-yard seasons in a row to start a career for a wide receiver. And so Mike Evans will make it a record-breaking 7th season in a row if he can get 40 more yards in this game, which is very doable considering what he's done the last 2 weeks and against the Falcons in general. As a whole on the season for 2020, Mike Evans has 67 catches for 960 yards and 13 touchdowns, which is also a franchise record, which he set last week, so congratulations to him. And on the season, he's averaging 14.3 yards per catch. If he can break this record that he shares with Randy Moss and gets the 40 yards, dare I say that I think he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now. And so not only will I look for Mike Evans to have a huge game to help our offense roll into the playoffs, but also this is for his legacy. And I think he will get a major boost to his legacy if he can cap off the season with over 1,000 yards and get the 40 yards in this game that he needs, which I definitely see him being able to do. All right, so that leads me into the prediction for the game. And I was watching last week's game with the Falcons playing the Chiefs, and it was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. The Falcons really hung around with the Chiefs. Yes, their offense struggled in the game, but their defense really stepped up. And since Raheem Morris took over as the interim head coach, the defense has really improved this season. And I was really impressed to see them limit that Chiefs offense to 17 points. And so we'll see if they can do that again heading into this one. But a key for us, which happened last matchup, is the slow starts that we were getting off to. We kind of broke that streak last week again. We definitely broke that streak last week against the Lions, but we'll see if it comes back again this week. If it comes back this week, I could see us getting upset because the Falcons dominated us in the first half last game. We all know what happened after that. But the offense really does need to show up, and that is why I think Mike Evans is going to be an important part of that. But I think because the Buccaneers still have work to do in securing the number 5 seed in the NFC, the Falcons don't have anything to play for other than getting a better draft pick. Not to say that they're not going to come out and fight in this one, and they definitely showed fight in last week's game against the Chiefs, but I just think the Buccaneers will be hungry, and they need to be on their top form going into the playoffs, because this is a huge opportunity for them and an opportunity that they haven't had in 13 years. I mean, this is the first time they've been in the playoffs since 2007. So I want to see if they're going to be on top form in this game, because I definitely hope they don't waste their opportunity getting in the playoffs this year. I think look for the Buccaneers offense to be on their A game in this one, and hopefully the defense can step up and do their job, but we'll see with the injuries in the secondary. So I think this will be a really hard-fought game, but the Buccaneers will pull out of it to show that they are ready for the playoffs and a top contender. So I'll say that they'll come out of this one with a win in their final game of the regular season with a 31-24 victory. All right, now with the game prediction out of the way, let's look at the general playoff picture and also give my predictions for the playoffs after we look at the general playoff picture. All right, so looking at the current NFC playoffs, right now going from in order of 1st seed to 7th seed, it's the Packers in control of the top seed right now, 12-3. Saints, who won our division, the NFC South, at 11-4, the 2nd seed. They hold a tiebreaker over the Seahawks, who sit at 11-4 in the 3rd seed. The 4th seed belongs to the Washington football team, as they currently lead the NFC East. Buccaneers right now are in the 5 seed at 10-5. Rams 9-6 in the 6th spot, and the Bears 8-7 in the 7th seed. And the only teams in the NFC that have clinched a playoff berth are the Packers, Saints, and Seahawks, who have all clinched their divisions, and the Buccaneers, who have clinched a wild card berth. Now, the NFC East has not been decided yet. The Washington football team, the Cowboys, and the Giants are all still alive in that. And then the Rams, Bears, and Cardinals are all alive for the final 2 wild card spots. The Cardinals are on the outside looking in right now. As you see, they are not in any of the seeds right now. The Rams and Bears currently hold those spots, but that could change with the outcomes going into Week 17. And so this is how I see the NFC playoffs finishing out. So in my prediction, I have the Packers finishing as the number 1 seed, sitting at 13-3. They are playing the Bears this week, so I'm predicting they'll get the win over them. So if they win this week, they will clinch the number 1 seed, which means they get a first-round bye and a home field advantage. Saints are playing the Panthers this week. I'm predicting a win for them. They'll go to 12-4. Same with the Seahawks. They play the 49ers this week. They'll move to 12-4. So the Saints will still be ahead of the Seahawks, and the current tiebreaker will stand. Now here's where things get very important and a little bit complicated. So currently Washington, as I mentioned before, sits as the NFC East leaders at 6-9. They are playing the Eagles, who got eliminated by losing to the Cowboys in Week 16. The Cowboys and Giants are both still alive, and they play each other. The winner of that game will be the NFC East champion if Washington loses, and so my prediction is that the Cowboys will beat the Giants and Washington loses to the Eagles to make the Cowboys the NFC East champions at 7-9, meaning that with this Buccaneer win that I predicted, with them finishing at 11-5 as the 5 seed, they will play the 4-seeded Cowboys in the wild card round, going on the road to Arlington, Texas, and AT&T Stadium. And then finally, with this rounding out the 6 and 7 seeds, I have, with the Bears losing, they drop out, and with the Cardinal win, they will move ahead of the Rams. The Cardinals would hold the tiebreaker over the Rams, with both teams finishing 9-7. So this could be a realistic way in which the playoffs finish out, but this is not a certainty, and obviously things will change by the minute as the games are going on. But this is just a little bit of an example of what would happen if the playoff picture finished out as I would have predicted. And so in this scenario, the Buccaneers will be playing the Cowboys in the wild card round. But with Washington and the Giants also still alive to win the NFC East, who knows who we're going to be playing in the wild card round. So the main point of it is that it is uncertain who will be playing next week. We will see how that plays out. And from a Buccaneer perspective, I would pay very close attention to those NFC East games, as well as the Rams and Cardinals game, just in case we are not able to win this week against the Falcons, to see where we finish and who we will play in the wild card round. And so that's going to be pretty much it for this week's preview video. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. We'll see how this playoff picture finishes up, but hopefully the Buccaneers can secure the 5 seed with a win this week or a Rams loss. And so that is the simplest possible scenario in which the Buccaneers will be playing the winner of the NFC East, who will be at the 4 seed. And according to my prediction, it will be the Cowboys, but we'll see if Washington or the Giants can prove me wrong. But that is it for me. Thank you for watching, and go Bucs.